Hi everyone, my name is Steve and this is my anchor test video number 114. Now today marks a significant milestone because after many months of planning and a lot of hours preparing, I will begin my high holding power winch testing. Now this does have a significant number of unknowns and perhaps some danger, so I'm going to kind of start off easy and slow. We are here in Scow Bay, which has a notoriously low holding power bottom, and I'm going to choose to test some low holding power anchors first. Specifically, I've got 4 genuine Bruce anchors, and kind of the idea, in addition to testing the new pulling rig, is I want to test how Bruce anchors scale. And there's various theories about how much holding power you get if you say double the weight of the anchor, so I intend to test that. Also, Bruce anchors in particular are known to do better as they get larger. People that have Bruce anchors up in the 100-pound and above, that sounds like those do really well compared to many other anchors. But the smaller Bruce anchors are known to have quite a bit less holding power. So there's a couple of possibilities here for measurements. One would be, what would be the maximum holding of the anchor or resistance while it is being drugged through the bottom? That would be one number. Another number that would be interesting would be to know what is its holding power without moving. Another factor is dwell time. The amount of time the anchor has to soak and sit, gives time for the seabed to sort of recongeal around the anchor. So I'm thinking maybe we'll wait 10 minutes and then kind of repeat the whole thing. So again, I'll give it an initial in motion maximum holding, then let it sit, note the maximum that it can hold without moving, wait 10 minutes and then do it again. And I don't know, maybe you'll plot all 4 of those numbers, maybe average them together. We'll see. Okay, let's see what happens. Most I saw was 140, now it's down to 70. Saw 200 on that pull. Now it's stable at 135. I'm going to start the engine to keep the battery charged. Okay, saw 250 on that pull. Stabilize at 150. I saw 270 there and stabilized now at 160. 170, 168. Again, stable at 270 during the pull, and now it's 160. Okay, so each one of these segments that I pull is 15 feet long, and roughly the first 15 feet, the holding power was steadily increasing, so let's call that the setting portion. The second 15 feet was fairly stable. I was seeing 270 during the pull, and about 150 to 170 after the pull, sort of a stable number. Okay, that's been 10 minutes. Let's see what it does. It's been holding steady at about 120 pounds here for this whole time. Let's see what another 15 feet of motion holding power does. 300. 280, 260, 290, 300. That was about 8 feet. I'm going to move the camera and let you guys watch the last, say 8 feet that we pull. So we pulled it a total of 45 feet. I think things were pretty stabilized there at the end. Close to 300 pounds of in motion holding, and now it's holding steady at about 170 static. Okay, only about 2 feet of mud showing on the road, and that was it. Pretty clean. Okay, next up is the 15 kilogram or 33 pound genuine Bruce. Okay, that was 15 feet, and I saw 300 pounds max during that time, and I'm seeing 200, about 200 now holding. Okay, here's the next 15 feet for the 15 kilogram, 33 pound Bruce. Okay, that was real steady throughout that whole 15 feet of bouncing in the high 3s, occasional 400. There's just a little bit of a chop and the bow is bouncing up and down, so unfortunately we're getting a little bit of a surge. Right now we're holding steady, 250, 260, 245. Call it 250 steady. So now let's give it a 10-minute soak and we'll give it another 15 feet. So I'll go ahead and train the camera on the readout here and give it the last 15 feet of steady pull, and you can just see for yourself what happens. Okay, to my eye, it looked like the average was about 450. Saw a few peaks of 500, and then right away we're right back down at our 200 sort of average holding here with no motion. Okay, the 33 pounder looks like about 5 feet of mud on the road, so pretty good burial. Came up real clean. Okay, next is the 20 kilogram, 44 pound genuine Bruce. Okay, 20 kilogram, 44 pound Bruce, initial set, that'll be 15 feet. The second 15 feet, continuous pull. Okay, this is the third and final 15-foot pull for the 20 kilogram, 44 pound Bruce. Came up clean. Okay, 30 kilogram, 66 pound Bruce. Okay, I just snugged up on the 66 pound, 30 kilogram Bruce, and now I'll do the initial 15 feet. Okay, second 15 feet, 30 kilogram, 66 pound Bruce. I'm going to let that set for 10 minutes. 30 kilograms, 66 pound Bruce, final 15 feet, the third and final pull. Okay, let's dive right into a brand new performance chart. This one I'm calling Soft Mud Holding with a Winch. I've got it described there, 8-to-1 scope, all Dyneema Road. All of the holding power data is in pounds. Notice there are 2 additional anchors on the chart already, in addition to the 4 Bruce anchors we've already seen. I'm gonna show you clips from those 2 aluminum anchor tests. But for now, let's look at those 4 Bruce anchors. And the top line is the small 5 kilogram Bruce. And if we search all the way over to the right in the holding power over weight column, you'll see that it has 20 units of holding power for each unit of anchor weight. And that is double the other anchors. And this is exactly the opposite from what I was expecting, and I think from what sort of common knowledge would have indicated. Again, from the beginning of the video, I stated that, common wisdom often says that the larger Bruce anchors do better, but here we have the opposite. Maybe there was some anomaly at play. I will say that the 5 kilogram Bruce anchor did have the advantage of having a calm sea state, and it did not have any sort of surging going on. I really can't see how that would account for double the holding power per weight. But the other 3 Bruce anchors, the 15, 20, and 30 kilograms, they were all almost identical in their holding power over weight. Okay, we've got a Spade A100. This is an aluminum anchor. I think it's 26 or 27 pounds. Okay, it's the initial pull for the A100 Spade. Okay, second 15 feet, A100 Spade. Okay, it's the final 15-foot third pull, Spade A100. Okay, there's the A100. It was surprisingly easy to extract from the seabed and came up quite clean. Okay, this is an aluminum Sarca Excel number 5. Okay, here's an initial 10 feet of set. $180, $190, $200, $230, $250, $270, $290, $310, $330, $350, $370, $390, $407, $430, $445. Steady at $350, $349, $339, $330, $321. Okay, it's the second pull for the aluminum Sarca Excel number 5. So it's 15 feet, second pull. Okay, it's the final pull. Final 15 feet for the Sarca Excel number 5 aluminum. Aluminum Sarca Excel number 5. Well, I think the new winch testing gear in the boat is working out really well. However, there's a couple little things that might need to be tweaked or at least talked about. First is the display sensitivity. On that load cell display, we saw the numbers really jumping around a lot because of the little waves that were causing the boat to surge. And it's good in that we get to see that there are surges on the anchor. However, it makes it very difficult to determine sort of the average. Now, I could reset the display to a sort of a slower sample rate, and that would make it real easy. Maybe it samples every couple seconds, but we won't see those little quick jerks. So give me a comment on what you think. You think I should leave it the way it is, or change the display so it sort of smooths out the peaks? Next thing to talk about is the dwell time. It would be nice to use the end of the 10-minute period. Use that sort of static holding power number. The problem is the static holding number isn't good for very long because of tide. The boat's pretty much always either going to be raising or lowering with the tide, and that's going to completely change the tension on the roads because, well, there's a vertical component to these roads, and again, a rising tide's going to artificially make the anchor holding numbers more, and a falling tide will make it less. So I went ahead and just gave the static holding numbers based on just the first few moments. I'll mention that I measured the winch speed, and when there's very little load on the winch, it's winching in at about 1/2 a knot. And at about 500 pounds, it's about 1/4 of a knot. Now that winch is rated for 10,000 pounds, and that's quite a change in speed. And you could hear it. When it starts to bear down, it slows, and it almost sounds like it's struggling at 500 pounds. Well, I'm hoping I can get 5,000 pounds out of that winch, and I think that might be dubious. If it really does struggle and it's just slow and burning up, what I can do is I can install a snatch block and make it 2-to-1. I've really wanted to avoid metal in the winch system, because if something lets go, now we've got a projectile. I also wanted to explain my decision to use an all-rope rode for these tests, and it has to do with the fact that we had anchors of vastly different size. If we had used some chain in the testing, the anchors that produced low holding power would not have pulled the catenary out of the chain, and therefore would have received effectively a longer scope. Perhaps if the chain wouldn't lift up at all, they would see infinite scope. And then the larger, higher holding power anchors would see some angle to their angle of pull because of chain lifting. So in order to conduct a test where we are really truly apples to apples and the exact same angle of pull, you use a rode that is very nearly neutrally buoyant, which rope provides. Okay, that's all I got for now. Stay tuned, there's plenty coming up in the future. Coming in the mail, there's a couple anchors from the Kingston Anchor Company, a couple of quick sets, so stay tuned for that. Of course, I got lots more to do with this Spade and lots of other anchors. So gonna have a very busy summer. Big thanks to everybody who's watching, donating materials or expertise, and especially the Patreon people. My patrons, there's now over 70 of you. Huge thank you. You guys are really, really what's driving this at this point. I just literally couldn't be doing it without you. If you want to join those folks in some monetary donations, down and below the video in the description, you'll find links to my Patreon and PayPal accounts. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Do anchor safely. So long.